Now to some more breaking news at 5 o'clock. An Oxford mother now charged in connection with the death of her 11-month-old son. State police say the baby died from a drug overdose.
Yeah, this incident happening back in July. Police say they responded to a 911 call for a report of a baby not breathing. Fox 61's Dave Puglisi joins us live near the home with what happened. Dave?
Connecticut State Police arrested Rebecca Dixon yesterday for that tragic death. The incident occurred at her home down this street here back in July. Now police believe they have enough probable cause to say that she may have been responsible for her son's death. Now, this death occurred back on July 6 when state police were called to Dixon's home after her child was found unresponsive. Dixon had been napping with her son when she woke up to find him limp. In August, the chief medical examiner ruled that the child's death was a homicide. The cause of death was intoxication due to fentanyl and morphine with recent cocaine exposure. Dixon's arrest warrant states that some of those narcotics were also found in her system. An investigation of her bedroom found evidence of heroin and cocaine use. The narcotics were found possibly in reach of a child.
Based on the fact that the mother had narcotics within the area that the victim was, prior to the victim's death, the mother had been using as well. It doesn't really say how they believe the child had come in contact with the narcotics. However, it does show that the Rebecca, the mother, had narcotics in the same area as the child.
Now, the warrant also states that the child was exposed to drugs in the wound. Now, Dixon is facing manslaughter in the second degree. Her bond was set at $100,000. In Oxford, Dave Puglisi, Fox 61 News.
Dave, thanks. New details now after an 8-month-old baby girl was found abandoned in a